robotics team, so programming. And so is Danielle, and she's in 10th grade. And for cheer, I taught a speech and debate class last summer, and I taught one for the winter camp. So yeah, so would Kerstern like to introduce herself?
Okay, so my name is Kerstern Malama. A quality systems engineer at Northrop Grumman. And thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, okay. So I'll cover for Danielle while she tries to get on. Okay, so question 1 was, can you talk a bit about what STEM is and what it means to you?
Well, when you ask him about STEM, my eyes lit because it's one of my passions to encourage girls pursue STEM. So STEM simply means acronyms for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And STEM actually drives the economy. It drives the US GDP, and also it has birthed the innovation. So, and there has been a lot of innovation for the past 2 decades. So let's talk about innovation just a little bit. So technology has evolved tremendously in the past 2 decades, and definitely the US and the world who need a lot of engineers to fill those skill set. There will be a gap because there hasn't been a lot of people venturing into STEM. And so the future poses a lot of challenges, but with epic opportunities to actually go into STEM. And that's where we need girls to pursue STEM, to be part of that venture. And here's the caveat to STEM. STEM recognizes the female candidate, the female that has been overshadowed for the longest time. Um, she's been overshadowed because of inclination to cultural inclinations, and also due to financial barriers. And when I talk about cultural inclinations, I mean, family decisions, the culture itself. When boys are growing, they go to fetch and make traps for animals, for example. They make cars. But for women, they stay with their mothers. They are learning how to clean the house, how to cook. So when they grow up, it's very difficult for them to pursue STEM because they think it's for the boys. But actually, it's not for the boys. It's for everyone. So one thing I'm very excited about STEM. STEM, promotes the female candidate in such a way that it promotes her aptitude and also her talent of engineering, that she can as well pursue STEM and be part of the STEM career. So that's how I feel STEM is all about. And the other thing I wanted to say is the United States female consists of female, 50% female, and only less than 28% are in STEM. So, the US is really trying to work hard to make sure women can also pursue their STEM careers. And that's how I understand about STEM.
Okay, the next question was, why is it important for girls to enter the STEM field? But you kind of already covered a lot about that.
Yeah.
So Danielle, do you want to take question 3?
Yeah, sorry. So I had a bunch of technical difficulties and I'm here now. I can briefly introduce myself. My name is Danielle. I'm a sophomore at Granada Hills Charter High School. And like Angela, I'm a programmer for our robotics team. So the third question is, how can parents support their daughters in STEM?
Yes. So parents can support their daughters in STEM in there are two ways. The way you set up your house, because STEM has to be the sport that the child is, playing. Sport has to be the hero that the child emulates. So, it's not that the kids cannot comprehend STEM, but, they can, as long as we expose we expose STEM to them. So the good thing is, one of the benefits, it's the internet. The internet is a very good source of finding out where the programs are, because remember before, most people could not afford these STEM activities. So the internet is one of them. And the other thing is also where the kids go to school, parents to engage themselves to find out, are there any STEM programs at school, things like that. And for me, for Girls for STEM, as one of one of the priorities as a founder is also to make shared resource available to parents, because it's very difficult that parents can know exactly where all this material is. So there is people to harness all that material and give it to the parents so they can understand exactly where to get it. It's not like a one word, go get it this way. It's a process as the kid is growing, how to mentor them, where to get this material from, things like that.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what does Girls for STEM USA do?
So Girls for STEM will provide, as I mentioned earlier on, it will, first, I believe mothers, parents, guardians have got a greater impact encouraging girls pursue STEM. So we would like to involve parents in our community to make sure they have the resources around them to help kids pursue STEM. We need to empower them, show them the shared resources that they can tap into. And the other thing is to provide continuous mentorship to the kids, to reach out to the kids in the schools, and also if they can take part in the after school activities. There will be activities like fun projects, to show kids how to think scientifically, how to deal with problem solving, and also presentation of those problems solved, issues when they find them. And the other thing is visiting companies, because we need to expose kids to the endeavors so they can see the technology in real life. And also one of the other things is to also provide some scholarships.
Thank you. And speaking about industries and companies, what obstacles have you faced to get to where you are in STEM today, and how did you overcome them?
Wow, that's interesting. One of the component is financial barriers. That's the one I faced. But I was very privileged when I went to CSUN. Of course, they offer financial aid, and also I got some scholarships right there when I was there. When you are paying attention, you're doing well. It's easy to get some of the scholarships, and I did that. And also I was part of the M program at CSUN, which really, really helped me. Without that, I was not going to make it, because they provide this mentorship and also just the coaching into my STEM career. So that was one of the barriers. And the other one is to stay into STEM. That was one of my challenges. Sometimes you face difficulties if you are not grounded, because I was part of the AIMS program. And one of my mentors was Dr. Lee. I'm not sure if he's here, very supportive. I was privileged actually to be under him, and we did a lot of research. So without those programs, that was going to be one of my challenges, but I'm glad I put through.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Also, when did you first discover your STEM interest?
That's interesting too. So when I was growing up, naturally I was born in Africa. So when I was growing up, I remember making cars with my elder brother. My elder brother was very interested in making gadgets. So we would go fetch clay, clay from the soil, clay made out of soil from the hill, nearby hill, when the rain falls and then the clay is soft. So we would go get that with my brother and make a lot of cars. I remember making the chassis. We used to call it mudguard. So, but I was still young by that time. I didn't know how I was being wired though. But as I grew up, I learned that I was interested in math, in trying to solve problems, and that's how I majored in production management when I was back home. And when I came to United States, I had the privilege to do engineering because that was my passion. I was like, wow, I like solving problems, and that's how I developed my passion for STEM.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So jumping back to you were talking about CSUN. So why did you choose to go to CSUN, and what was your experience like?
Yes, it's one of my best experience. Let me not put myself ahead because I was under Dr. Lee for about almost 75% of my school years. I was doing research, so that was very interesting. But coming to your question again, why I chose CSUN, it's because my prior experience, I had done production management, which is in manufacturing. So very few universities offer manufacturing systems engineering and management. Most of the universities are offering industrial engineering. So I really wanted to do manufacturing engineering. And CSUN is one of them that was offering. So I chose CSUN. And I was also picked up to do Dallas UTD, but they wanted me to do mechanical engineer. But I was like, no, I really need to go to California because I'd already lived here for a long time, and there are certain benefits that you have being in a state for a long time. I don't know if you guys know about that. So that's why I was privileged to go to CSUN. I was very scared. I was like, oh, I don't know how it's going to be. But it turned out to be very fun, actually. I really enjoyed my school life.
Thank you. So also from what we've been told, you are currently working at Northrop Grumman Space Systems.
Yes.
So how did you get to where you are?
I'll tell you one of the things about being a career in STEM, you choose which company you want to work for. So that I would say is my main answer. And I really wanted to work for Northrop Grumman. It's one of the best companies, and I was privileged. I kept on applying. I don't know how many times I applied. I was applying everywhere else, but I applied so much at Northrop Grumman, and I was surprised I was picked.
Nice. So before Northrop Grumman, what were some of your earlier jobs or internships?
Yes, when I was in Africa, when I finished my associate, I had worked as a quality control supervisor when I was really, really young. And then I came to United States. Worked as a biller in insurance before I was working when I was working to complete my university. And when I was at university, I was also worked as a research assistant in the manufacturing systems engineering department with Dr. Lee. And we worked together for about 3 years. Amazing. I learned a lot from him. Most of the things, what I'm working on and being independently working, it's what I learned from uh, how he taught us as research students. So I worked at CSUN as a research for about 3 years, almost my years of my life there. And then after that, I joined Megit. Megit is a engine control system. They make valves for the control unit of the aeroplane. So I worked there as an intern, as a quality systems engineer as an intern. And then I worked there. The intern finished after 7 months. And I had learned a lot. I pushed so hard to learn so much information just to understand, the couch of working, what am I supposed to do, things like that. So by the time the intern was finishing, I had applied at Homet Aerospace. They also make the body for the aeroplanes. So I worked there also for about 7 months, and then I applied at Northrop Grumman.
Really cool. Okay. What advice would you give to girls who are interested in STEM?
What I'll tell you is STEM, it's a very lucrative career. What I mean by lucrative, it's a high paying job. Not only that, we need women in STEM. Why? We need women in STEM to sit on the table. The products that are made in the industries or in the world that are making our lives better need a women's touch. So we need more women to go into STEM, and do not be scared because there's all those notion of being scared in STEM, and the only thing that is there, it's math, which is a core factor in all classes we take maths, right? So there is nothing to fear, but just go for it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Right, so we can take a short pause here to answer any audience questions. So if you do have any questions for Kerstern, you can send them in chat, either privately or to everyone. Also, sorry for constantly looking away from my webcam. I have a separate monitor and I couldn't get the other one to work.
Hey, Kerstern, this is Bing Bing.
Hi, Dr. Lee.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You make a lot of effort, to contribute to this Cheers organization, also the bridge program between the Black and the Asian, American bridge program. So yeah, I'm also so proud of you. You did an excellent job, when you were students in the lab. So yeah, I'm so glad you're here tonight, and then introduce and promote more STEM to the girls and minority community as well. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. If there are no audience questions at this time, we can move on. But if you do come up with questions, feel free to send them in the chat. Okay, so do you know of any good middle school opportunities for girls in STEM?
What I would say is the most important thing is to have the drive to source for information as a student. So there are other companies that offer certain positions for students to do, but most of the time you may volunteer for STEM programs, STEM camps, and they don't come easily. Like, you have to have the drive to look for things like that. And why am I saying you need to have the drive? Even when you start working at your job, the boss won't be there all the time to be asking, did you finish this, did you finish that? You have to have the drive to do stuff and make sure they are complete. So it's the same thing when you're at high school. Look for this information at school. You may get into some, you volunteer, and in the end you even understand more once you volunteer or you do some research, things like that. I think that's the good approach, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So do you know of any good high school opportunities for girls in STEM?
Can you be more specific?
Like, for example, programs or clubs or teams they can join in order to further their interests?
So the most thing I would say is definitely at school, they are programs that school offers, right? And you don't want to load yourself again with so many things. So there are programs that the school may offer, so you can always find out from there. But mostly if you have robotics, if you have research, any research that's going on, if you have any volunteering, mostly because I'm always getting back to volunteering because that's the most students can do at your age, is to volunteer for those opportunities. Some of them you may not get paid, but what you're going to benefit from those are very, very good, and they will help you actually as you move on, because you can easily put them on your resume and say, I did this, I did that, I did something like that.
Thank you. So let's flip it around, and instead of searching for opportunities, what opportunities have STEM given you?
Wow. One of the opportunity, of course, is to have a career, and you never get not to work. There are so many industries looking for people to work. So that's one of them. And also what I love about STEM is the skill that I've gained from being in STEM. Talk about collaborating, and even just understanding technology itself. Those are just one of the opportunities. You tend to understand the world in a different way. So it's not just about getting a job and getting paid, but there are other benefits that comes with it. The capacity and capability to understand things and things that you want to do. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's really good. Was there anyone that you looked up to throughout your STEM journey?
So that is quite interesting. For me, I didn't have a female model to look at, like, oh, I see that one, because sometimes you have to connect with them, right? Like you want to speak to them. I really didn't have, but what I appreciate is I had actually, I would say, male models in my life, especially teachers, professors who I could see were, cheering for me that you can do this, you can do this. So for me, I would say they are my models that really helped me get to where I am. And that's why I would love to be a model for the girls that are just trying to pursue into STEM, because sometimes you have to see a female that you can speak to, that you can relate to and ask questions. So that's what I would say, yes.
Okay, thank you. And that's all the questions that we have prepared, but are there any audience questions?
Hi, Kristen. This is Trinh. I have a question for you. I myself actually also work in the STEM-related industry.
Okay.
Oftentimes, I feel I might be the only one in the home office who is a female talking about the hard topic. When I attended my undergraduate, when I was in the university, my university was one of the top engineering school in China.
Yes.
We have a small dormitory for girls, and they have the fence around the dormitory, and other boys call that panda house because there are so little girls in engineering school. So do you have any opinion toward, as a female, what's the advantage and also challenge for female in STEM related career?
Yes, that is interesting. So one of the challenges that I found when you are a female and you are in a group and you're trying to, articulate your point, sometimes you find that the men are not hearing you. So I had to think, is it my voice? Okay, I'm not speaking louder because I'm trying to speak and they're speaking on top of me. No, James, things like that. So I'm looking, they can't hear me or what? Then I realized, sometimes men, they don't know how to, it's a culture. So it's very difficult for them sometimes to give chance for the lady to speak. So I would wait until they finish. And then I say, as I was saying, and then if somebody jumps in and say, okay, as I was saying, then they will be like, oh no, okay, let's hear, what she would say. So yes, I find that a lot of time, but I have pushed through that even during my my university time. I went through the same thing. Even now, sometimes they're trying to give a point, but they are not listening. Not that they don't want you to speak, but it's just that men sometimes they have to learn that, or there's someone who wants to speak as well. So that's one of the challenges that I've had. And even where I work right now, most of the time I am the only one. So I have seen that from my school years, and it has given me so much to push. So even there, I don't feel like it's very strange because I've done it before, and even where I worked, it's the same thing. So, and that's why I'm pushing for Girls for STEM, that we need a lot of women to be in these companies.
Thank you for your answer. Same here. I had the same impression. So I feel another advantage for girls to be in STEM-related industries. We are very patient and very attention to the details. So sometimes we can see something hidden in a lot of information and pick up those kind of information, carry out the insight. So myself is in the data science related career, and sometimes we only have 2 girls in the group, and well, sometimes we contribute a lot of insight to the whole team. I think that's one advantage.
Yes, and that's very true. I found myself, like, if we were in a meeting, I would go and tell me, I think we needed to do this and this, we missed this. Oh, yeah. So that's really true.
Great. Are there any other audience questions? If not, Kerstern, could you leave us with some last words, last thoughts?
Yes. So I just wanted to say, if you're scared of math, there is nothing so difficult about math. All we are trying to find is X and what happened to X. So as you are progressing in math, X just starts changing. They start calling X, it's derivative, differentiation. So the only thing is we're trying to solve for X. And what happens to X, it starts changing, that's it. So when I speak, for example, to my son, I tell him about that. He's like, really, mom? I'm like, that's it. So I just want to encourage you that, you just have to stick your foot in there and keep going. Once you get over that, any other subject becomes easier, because once you apply math, it's easier to apply to any discipline. It's much easier.
Thank you for that. And I guess we can just pass it off to Holly.
Oh, I have a question. Kerstern, we have talked over phone, and
Oh, did you have a question? If you have a question, you can type it in chat instead of unmuting, if that's easier. Okay. I guess that concludes our interview. Thank you for coming. Holly, did you want to take over?
Sorry about just now. So Louis, do you want to take over?
Oh, actually, I have a question as a like to Kerstern. Like, I'm just wondering. As a, I don't know if you are also has a role as a mother.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So my question is just how you balance your family and the career.
It was really hard at the beginning, but I'm very glad that I was able to pull through. It's very difficult, but you have to explain, you know, to your family to be able to help you how to navigate, and you know, and also my son also needed help, homework, but the most important thing is to communicate to, you know, my husband, my son, to make sure, oh, I'm busy this time, I'm doing this, and they understand. Other than that, it was really tough. Most people, that's where they give breaks and they stop and they, you know, they don't continue, but you have to have the tenacity. And when I did that, I realized once you push through, you finally do it. And I think women, we go through so many, because that's not the only thing you do. You have to organize the house, you have to cook, you have to do, you know, different things. So it's really, really difficult, but it's doable.
Thank you. I think that's just to, you know, give the like the future girls, because they're always gonna be like this, you know, this role, like double roles.
Yes, it doesn't go away, it will be there. And I think, you know, we have the capacity to do that. I think just like you know, we're able to see those details. At the same time, we have the capacity to apportion time, to be able to do multiple things like that, better than men. Sorry, men. So we can do that.
Great, nice. And actually, I think this Holly just sent a question in the chat. So she wants you, like, she hopes you can cover a little bit more details of your current job.
Yes.
Because it sounds like a brand new field to her. And
yes. Yeah. You mean like my job that I'm doing, or?
Yeah, I think that's what she means. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what Northrop Grumman manufactures reflectors for communications that goes in space. So that's what our products, that's what we do. So one thing I like about my product is because it's able to protect the country, and it's able to protect our troops. So it's high technology that we make for communication purposes, and also any other vehicles that launch to space.
Wow, that sounds pretty, you know, top ones.
Yes, and the cool thing is we create them here and then they deploy when they get to space.
Yeah, this makes me, because I have two boys. I'm sorry about that, but and it kind of tends to be like jealous. You're going to, like, you know, pursue girls on STEM.
Yeah, okay. Pursue STEM too. Boys, we are with you. Let's go, all of us. You know, let's do STEM.
I think that's pretty, you know, this time is pretty good for girls, because like the whole society, the government has so put so much efforts on that, push the girls on STEM program moving on.
Exactly. And that's what I was talking about, because the government has put in so much programs in the schools, access, and not only that, the internet, ever since the internet is with us, there's so much resource. But the only thing is, it's so hard sometimes for either kids or parents to know this information. And that's why, for example, Girls for STEM would like to make sure we can get that resource and provide it to the parents so they can navigate and show the kids where to access this information. How do you access it? Where is it? What makes it so much that my kid can be successful? Because what they're saying in classes, sometimes it's not enough time to do all these programs for the kids. So it's very important that we are well informed to make these decisions.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Because I definitely think that's right now is a very good time for girls to move on the STEM area. It's perfect because from my work, I can't have a lot of contact with a surgeon, and those programs I realize they're like at least half a woman. Yeah, and I see that's a lot. I think that's for the NASA, like the maybe it's the last month or last few weeks ago, the launch that's on the Mars.
Yes.
Yeah, so the director or the coordinator was also a lady. That's what makes girls should be so proud of that, and it should be now is a good time for them to move on this area.
It is a good time. There's so much resource, and that's why I'm just on the campaign. I'm like, let's do this, girls. We can do this. And the jobs, there will be so many jobs, and not everybody's going to be astronauts. So every career will need some kind of technical as we move, because technology has evolved and it has advanced so much. So everything will be STEM related, everything that will be coming. So the people who are going to really benefit are those that have done STEM, because there's nothing that you cannot do once you have a STEM career. You can pretty much, do anything.
Agree. Pretty much do everything. I like this.
Everything.
Perfect.
And something that you want to work.
Yeah, we have actually, I think that today has at least half of the students, instructors or students are girls. I hope they can just get inspired by your story, by your experience, and focus really and be steady on that's the STEM area.
Remember, the employers are looking for you. They want you, because it's not that the thing is, there will be so much opportunities. There will be so much opportunities. So we need to be ready to be able to fill those positions.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like you mean that's a young women, you needed to be ready to fill in those spots. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you so much. And I wonder, should pass it to our Danielle and Angela. Do you guys have any question after we're talking so much?
You can keep on going. I love STEM.
Or any girls wanted to share your interest to on the STEM, you can share here and let Kerstern know about that, and maybe you can be in the fantastic girls on STEM program.
Definitely.
Yeah. I can talk a little bit about my STEM interest if you guys want to hear. I mean, I started STEM kind of early. I liked math from a very young age, but I was in a robotics team since 6th grade, and we did a bunch of competitions, and I was a programmer there. And I guess I got really interested in it because it seemed really cool to me. And, you could do so many things with technology and all these different areas. So I started investing more time into it, and then, you know, trying to learn more languages and all that. So that's kind of how I got more interested in STEM, because I thought it was really like a powerful tool for the world, and, you know, one that could be used in all sorts of areas and all kinds of ways. And yeah, that was how I got interested in STEM.
Wow. That's interesting to hear you say that. You seem to be driven already, and it's addictive. Let me tell you something. Once you start just wanting, you just be wanting to get more. What about this? How does it work? You know, how do I get this? How do I understand this? And the most important thing is asking. Asking is one of the most important things, and do not be shy, because you want to know how other engineers think, right? You can't just want to know your, so you have to know how does this, how does it, how do they think, what about what do they think about it, because that also gives you another, you see how they're thinking. Okay, so I'm right, and then you can proceed doing what you want. And sometimes maybe the other person knows the easier way. Sometimes we find the longer way, but someone, oh no, I just did this and this, oh okay, so that's really interesting.
And for me, I guess I've always been kind of interested in STEM. I heard it around me a lot growing up, but it really started when I was a freshman in high school. Over the coronavirus, the pandemic, when we were quarantined at home, I guess that's when it really kind of took off for me. I started taking classes at PCC, just like extra about computer science and programming languages. And I also did a certification test and just started volunteering. And it just grew from there. Like Kerstern said, it's addictive. Yeah.
It's addictive once you start. Oh yeah, volunteering. The next thing you've been research, and this not when you volunteer, this knowledge is staying in your head. It's not going away. So you are adding, and that gives you a more perspective of understanding your world around you. I was surprised when I started working because of the research I've done, because of all these things I involved myself. When I went to work, I wasn't surprised. I could see the engineers are working. I'm like, I know that. Okay. So it's easier for you to understand because you've been exposed to volunteering, research, things like that. So it's really good to do that.
Okay. Is there any students want to share your experience as a girl or even as a boy? Share your experience working with girls on STEAM.
Yeah.
So I think that's at least a Christian. I mean that's, I feel like still, if the country wants to be strong, need to be strong on STEAM.
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, STEM drives the economy, it drives the GDP, and it births innovation. And remember, technology has evolved so much in the past decade, you can imagine. So they will need a lot of STEM professionals. And according to statistics, US alone will need about 1 million engineers in the next decade. So that's why, most kids need to be ready for it. When the jobs are open, you have to be ready so you can join. So definitely there will be, epic opportunities.
Yeah, that's very appreciate that you being here, share everything so open, like just no hiding information, everything share with us, and appreciate it. And I think that's all the girls, even boys also. Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we're so looking forward to make the cooperation with you in the future.
Sure.
That's very
I
nice
really
chance.
appreciate, thank you for having me. I really appreciate working with you guys all the time. I can't wait. I came on, on the Zoom. I'm like, are they ready or something like that? So thank you so much.
Yeah. That's we're going to have a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have a win-win program. I'm sure about that. Yeah. And I think it's a kind of, it's late, almost 8:30. And hope everyone have a good night and enjoy your spring break. And thanks to all the families, students that came to our open house and the lecture today. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to have all you guys to be involved in cheer in any form. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Albert. So on your agenda, is there still anything we need to go on? Hello, Albert.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Nothing other. I was told to host the student and project part, so I don't think there's any more.
Okay, so can we call down for today?
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thanks to everyone, and everyone have a good night and enjoy your break, the spring break. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.